Do I have to change my name? Will it get me far? Should I lose some weight? Am I gonna be a star?
I tried to be a boy, I tried to be a girl, I tried to be a mess, I tried to be the best. I guess I did it wrong, that's why I wrote this song. This type of modern life, is it for me? This type of modern life, is it for free? So I went into a bar, looking for sympathy, a little company. I tried to find a friend. It's more easily said, it's always been the same.
Do I have to change my name? Will it get me far? Should I lose some weight? Am I gonna be a star?
I tried to be a boy, I tried to be a girl, I tried to be a mess, I tried to be the best. I guess I did it wrong, that's why I wrote this song. This type of modern life, is it for me? This type of modern life, is it for free? So I went into a bar, looking for sympathy, a little company. I tried to find a friend. It's more easily said, it's always been the same. This type of modern life is not for me. This type of modern life is not for free. Oh, American life.
American life.
I live the American dream.
American
You
dream.
are the best thing I've seen. You are not just a dream.
American life.
I tried to stay ahead, I tried to stay on top, I tried to play the part, but somehow I forgot just what I did it for, and why I wanted more. This type of modern life, is it for me? This type of modern life, is it for free?
Do I have to change my name? Will it get me far? Should I lose some weight? Am I gonna be a star?
Oh, American life.
American
I
life.
live the American dream.
American
You
dream.
are the best thing I've seen. You are not just a dream.
American life. American life.
I tried to be a boy, tried to be a girl, tried to be a mess, tried to be the best, tried to find a friend, tried to stay ahead, tried to stay on top. Fuck it.
Do I have to change my name? Will it get me far? Should I lose some weight? Am I gonna be a star?
Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. Fuck it. I'm drinking a soy latte, I get a double shot it. It goes right through my body and you know I'm satisfied. I drive my Mini Cooper and I'm feeling super duper. You, they tell me I'm a trooper and you know I'm satisfied. I do yoga and Pilates and the room is full of hotties, so I'm checking out the bodies and you know I'm satisfied. I'm digging on the isotope, this metaphysics shit is dope, and if all this can give me hope, you know I'm satisfied. I got a lawyer and a manager, an agent and a chef, 3 nannies, an assistant and a driver and a jet, a trainer and a butler and a bodyguard of 5, a gardener and a stylist. Do you think I'm satisfied? I'd like to express my extreme point of view. I'm not a Christian and I'm not a Jew. I'm just living out the American dream, and I just realized that nothing is what it seems.
I had to change. everybody. Welcome to GXYZ. It is Thursday, February 2nd, 2017. It's me, your host, Jason and Donovan. I'm Donovan. That's Jason over there. Hey, Jason, how are you? Jason.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you now. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. I think I'm having some type of connectivity.
Of course
issue.
you are. It wouldn't be a show, a GXYZ show, if you weren't. That's what we always do with something going on. Anyway, welcome to the show, everybody. It is today, and we are talking today about friendship. We're talking about Trump, of course, and all his bullshit, and hot topics.
Hot topics.
Hot topics. Hot.
HAWT.
That's right. What? So, before we get started, did you do anything interesting over the last week? Do you want to talk about real quick, or anything special happened to you, or anything? Anything new, or?
No, nothing really happened. Just
Okay.
work like I always do. Oh, I do want to say this, and I brought this up on Facebook. You already know about it.
Okay.
Since and we had this discussion online, but since when did Old Navy start selling $50 jeans?
Oh my God, we did talk about this, and I'm like, oh my God, $50 is nothing for jeans. I think you said $40.
We didn't talk about it on the show.
No, but I mean, I talked about it on the Facebook
They were
page.
$50 by the time you add taxes.
Oh, it's
Okay,
$50.
well, they were
yeah.
$45. By the
Okay.
time you add taxes and everything, it's close to 50.
That's nothing.
But for Old Navy, that's expensive.
Like I said on Facebook, it is not 1993 where you can get a $9 pair of jeans. It just doesn't happen anymore.
Okay, $35 for a pair of jeans at Old Navy, yes. 45 to 50, that's like Banana Republic prices.
Banana Republic prices are more than that. They're like 60 something. And
Well,
Levi's costs $45. So I mean, they should at least cost as much as Levi's. I mean, come on. I mean, whatever.
I don't know.
I
maybe-
think you're just like your expectations are ridiculous. I think I told
Maybe.
you, but the jeans I buy are called DL 1961. They're fucking awesome jeans, and if you ever buy a pair or just try a pair on somewhere or whatever, you will see why it's worth spending more money for good jeans versus cheap jeans.
How much did you pay? And let's see how many people can
Well, it
actually
depends on the
afford
pair. Some of them are like $200, some are like $150, some are like $120, $160. It depends on the style, but somewhere in that range. Like usually like $120 to $200, somewhere in that range. But let me tell you why. These jeans, first of all, I've had a couple pairs for like several years, and they're still in great shape. Secondly, they have like maybe 5% of like elasticity in them or something, a little bit of elasticity. It's not like spandex, but it's just like a little bit. And so they're really comfortable. They're just regular jeans, but they're really comfortable, and they fit your body. Like they kind of mold your body more. And they're just fucking awesome. They fit really well, and almost everybody. So
Well, you have to remember that I'm poor. I'm not rich.
I'm not rich either, but I still want to spend when I buy something. This is how I am, Jason. Even when I was like Poe, when I was a kid, Poe, as Oprah used to say, Poe. When I was Poe, I still bought nice stuff because that's just my personality. I like nice shit. If I'm gonna buy something, I want to spend, like, if something's gonna cost me $100 for something nice versus something that's
but
crappy
this is
for
like-
50,
this is-
I'd rather spend another 50 and get something nice. That's how I am.
But this is like business casual work. I'm not wearing $200 jeans to work.
Why not?
First of all, ain't nobody gonna see him because I'm sitting down at a desk for 8 fucking hours. So really, ain't nobody gonna see him anyway. But it's like, no, I need a decent pair of jeans. First of all,
Shouldn't you
$200
always? You
jeans,
should always look your
I-
best. You should always look your best, even if
I
you're just
do,
sitting
but
down.
I'm
at
not
your
wearing $200 jeans to work.
But it's not just about other people. It's about you, how you feel in them, and also how they feel on you. If they're comfortable and how they make you feel. I mean, it's not just about other people. It's about you and your expression of God. I wish Christian was still on the show so we could talk about fashion and the meaning of fashion. And fashion is not just like. Did you ever see Devil Wears Prada? You saw the movie, right? Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, of course. I
Okay.
watched it live. Actually, watched it last night.
Okay, well, good. Do you remember the scene where Miranda, what's her face, Meryl Streep's character, was talking to whatever her name was, Anne Hathaway's character in the movie, and she's like, she like snickers. She's like, it's just a t-shirt or whatever. It's just a shirt or whatever. She said, it's just a shirt, and she's like, you just think what you're wearing is just a shirt, but what you're wearing is something these people in this room have picked out for you to express who you are. Blah blah blah. So it's more than just a pair of jeans, is what I'm saying. So take it in that.
But my thing
stance.
is, I don't want to spend $200. I don't want to spend
You don't
more
have to
on a
spend
pair of
$200.
jeans.
You don't have to spend $200.
I don't want to spend $200. I don't want to spend $200. That's more than my car insurance.
You don't have to spend $200. You can just spend, $70 or $60. Just up it a little bit. Just that way your expectations won't be so low. So when you go to Old Navy and the jeans are $45, you won't be like, what? I mean, come on.
Well, clothes are already expensive for men as it is.
You think so? Really?
Yes, I think it's cheaper for women.
No,
Women,
it is not, because women have to buy a dress, they got to buy a hose, got to buy underwear, a bra.
They have to buy. Yeah, they have to buy
all that shit.
accessories. But as far as men's clothing, I feel like men's clothing is more in price than women's anyway.
I think men's clothing, the reason it's more, possibly if that's true, is because it takes more tailoring. For men's clothes, you have to there's more detail in that way than it is in women's clothes. Are usually more free flowing or whatever. Not always, but it depends. But yeah. But anyway, excuse me. I'm sorry, I'm coughing. I still have this hacking cough left over from my sinus infection or whatever I had 2 weeks ago. But anyway, let's move on to the main topic tonight, which is today apparently was National Friends Day. I didn't even know that existed, but today's National Friends Day. And it's probably one of those holidays they make up to sell greeting cards, but whatever. I was thinking about friendship today, and I was thinking about how how many friends I've had throughout my life or whatever. And I want to talk about that a little bit with you as well. And I wanted to say, I have never been somebody who has a ton of friends. Like, someone who has like 100 friends. Like, I've had friends who have had like literally hundreds of friends. You know what I mean? People they can, in their phone, they can call and go out with anytime, whatever. But to me, they're more of acquaintances than friends, And so for me, I've always been more about quality than quantity. And I've always, even when I was a little kid, I've always had like a small group of really close friends, like 2 or 3 really close friends. And that's how I still am today. So I was wondering, are you the same way? Are you more of like someone who has like 100 friends or whatever?
No, I have very few friends. I've never been one of those type of people that have 525,600 friends on standby.
Right.
So no.
Well, what do you consider? Let's define the word friend. What do you consider a friend? I mean, a real, true friend. What do you consider a true friend to be? What characteristics?
A friend that is willing to help you in need, depending if they're able to help you. Because sometimes when you're in need of something, they may not always be able to help. But at least if they're there for like moral support and that type of thing,
right.
Someone who you can trust. That's for one thing.
Very
for sure.
much, yes.
Because I have a friend now that if I were to, be like, oh, I need you to stop by my house and get something out of my bathroom
or whatever
cabinet or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They can be like, okay, I'll go get it, and I know they won't, take
Steal
shit in the process
stuff.
or have somebody do it. Because when I lived in Frisco, with me having a dog, some nights I would leave work late.
Yeah.
So I gave my neighbor a key, and we're not neighbors anymore. She's actually a good friend of mine. I would give it to my friend Amber, and she lived across the hall from me. No, she actually lived upstairs from me. Sorry. And I'll be like, I would send her a text, be like, can you go let JoJo out, or can you, go and at least let him hang out with your dog, or at least take him out and then bring him back in, or something like that. She's like, okay, no worries, and we had a key to each other's places.
That's cool. That's good.
And I think at one point somebody thought that we were like boyfriend and girlfriend, even though that I'm gay and she's lesbian.
Yes.
But I was just like, no, we're just
Are these
friends.
the same lesbians you were complaining about months ago, like a year ago, whatever? Something happened and you were complaining about them or something, or her girlfriend?
No,
or
no,
something?
no.
Oh,
This
okay.
isn't her. No.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's a good definition of friend. Yeah.
But someone who's honest, trustworthy, is able to help you in need if they're able to.
Right.
I don't know, someone you could tell something, something private to in confidence. That's another thing.
Yes. Keep it in the vault. In the vault.
Right, exactly.
Do you know I have had friends that I'm no longer friends with, and even friends that I have had falling outs with, that have told me deep dark secrets that no one else knew that I still have never revealed to anybody. And that's how much of a friend I am. Even when I'm not friends with somebody, if I promise that I would never tell someone something, I never do. But there's people who do that though. Like you end friendships with somebody and they'll just like spill your tea and everything because they're mad or whatever.
Right. And then some people do that, and I've been guilty of doing that in the past.
Ooh, that's an affront to humanity. It's wrong.
But the thing is, like right now, I have a friend who I'm not talking to at the moment. We actually haven't talked in about a month. Because she got upset with me because I had to work.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I'm just gonna give you a quick little rundown. So she's an aspiring music artist, and I was supposed to take her over to Louisville to this guy's studio because he has like a full on like studio, like, professional studio in his house, or whatever. And so I said, well, I don't know if I'll be able to take you because she's in between cars right now. So, well, I don't know. She might have one now. I know at the time she was in between because she was recently in an accident. I think she probably has a car now. But she was like, well, I have the studio session booked, and I really need to go and everything. I was like, well, I said, I would love to take you, but I can't because I'm working. I can't take you on this particular day. She had to never get upset with me because I had to work. I'm like, girl, I'm not gonna miss work to take you to a studio session.
What, she think you are Uber or something? I mean,
I guess
they
so.
Didn't get paid for it.
And I told another friend that, and they were just like, yeah, she just had to deal with it because I'm like, I'm not gonna miss work to take you to a studio session.
Right.
And I was like, well, I can take you on this day or whatever. She's like, well, that's not gonna work. And then she got upset, and it turned out to be a whole mess. But yeah, I'm not talking to her at the moment. So, and I thought I didn't do anything wrong. Like I told you after work, I'm not gonna miss work to take you to a studio session. Like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, I agree with you, and I think that's ridiculous for her to expect you to do that, and it's ridiculous for her to be angry with you about it too. But whatever, it's not your responsibility to get her to work, so whatever.
Right.
It's not.
And that's the exact same thing my other friend said.
If you can, yeah, and he or she is right. If you, like you just told me in the beginning of this conversation about friendship, if you have the capability or the ability to do something and you don't in that situation because you have an obligation to be somewhere else, then you should help your friend. But if you can't, you can't, and that's not on you. It's on their responsibility to find an alternative or whatever, not yours. So whatever.
Right. And then the thing was, when I sent her a text, I said, well, we need to talk about some things, and she was like, I don't want to talk about anything. I said, okay, that's fine.
So now you're not friends at all anymore?
We haven't talked in over a month.
Well, that's just fucking retarded. And that's what I was going to talk about next. Sorry that I shouldn't use that word, stupid. I'm going to talk about that next. And the next thing I was going to say about the friendship is I think it's important when you're friends with people that you have sort of and I don't mean a literal friend contract like Nene and Cynthia on Atlanta Housewives. I mean, like you should have sort of an understanding, a meeting of the minds about what you expect from your friends. And I don't necessarily mean you have to sit down and talk about it, but you should just have an understanding. And you should understand that, for example, with me, it's like if I get angry about something, if I get angry at you or, whatever about something, I don't know, whoever it is, and about something as a friend, and I'm angry, it doesn't mean that our friendship's over. I mean, just because, you know what I mean? Just because we get angry, we have an argument or a disagreement, doesn't mean I'm done with our friendship. It just means at that particular moment, I'm angry at you or whatever. And a lot of people are like, oh, if you have any kind of disagreement or anything else, it's at the end of a friendship. I mean, I've so many people I've known like that, and it's just like you can't disagree with them. You have to basically be, a yes man. Go ahead and listen.
Well, no, I haven't ended a friendship with her. I actually don't even have a problem with her. She has an issue with.
I'm not saying about just this situation. I'm just saying in general. There are people who are like that. I'm not saying about you. I'm just saying in general that there are people who, like she, in my opinion, she's ending your friendship over something really stupid. And instead of just because you disagreed or she thinks you should have an obligation for some reason to take her to work when you really don't, that's a disagreement, but that shouldn't end your friendship, right?
I agree.
Right. But she apparently doesn't see it that way. And I'm saying that I've known so many people like her who are like, oh, if you don't see things the way I do, well, we're done. I mean, we have to be always on the same page about everything. What kind of friendship is that?
I've noticed that mainly women do that a lot.
Yes, they
Men do it every now and then, but it's primarily women that do that type of thing.
I'm sorry to say this, but I agree with you. It seems it's always been girls that have been in that situation with me. Yes, exactly.
So every issue I've had like this in the past, it's always been a woman. I've never had an issue with a guy like that.
Well, I wonder if it's about the fact that I don't know, this is kind of getting deep, but just quickly, I just want to say, I wonder if it's about the fact that they somehow have have, gay men and women have a certain kind of friendship relationship, I think, a certain special kind of relationship or rapport. And I think a lot of times, is she heterosexual? Woman?
Yes.
Yeah, heterosexual women and gay men. And a lot of times a heterosexual woman will rely on a gay man like she would a boyfriend or like a husband or something. You know what I mean?
That is so funny you say that because my other friend Myra said the same thing.
Well, Myra's very insightful because I wasn't even here and I it wasn't even part of the situation. I can tell you that's That's true, and it happens a lot. And I think that I think that's part of the reason she's so angry, and a lot of reason a lot of women get angry, especially at gay men, is because they come to rely on us in a certain way, which isn't our fault, which isn't our, like I said, it's not our fault, our obligation to be there in that way. But I think it becomes this certain kind of dynamic that when it's not there or when they need you in any way whatsoever, that they feel slighted, which I don't think is fair. So. Anyway, that's what I would say. But so anyway, yeah. So friendship, just quickly, I would say friendship for me, I'm sorry, is about loyalty, is about trust, is about honesty, and being able to be honest with someone and not end a friendship, or being able to be direct. I mean, someone could say something about me, the way I look or whatever. And I don't mean it in a mean way, but I mean say something about me that I don't like or what I'm wearing, whatever. And I'm not going to not be friends with them because they, don't agree with me about something. So, I mean, someone who can be honest. And if you can't be honest with a friend, then who the fuck can you be honest with? You've got to be able to be honest with a friend, and you need to trust that they're coming from a good place if they are indeed coming from a good place. So I think that's important too. And I think that, I think for me, my friends have always been, like I said, I have so few that are kind of insular and we're all very close, and there's a few of us that it's they're like family to me. I think it's important that they see me the same way, and I see them that way. And I really do feel that my closest friends are family, and I think that's a good thing. So friendship, National Friendship Day or National Friends Day today. Congratulations to all friends out there. And if you're on Facebook, I'm sure you get that stupid little thing that popped up today about your friends or whatever. I don't know, this little movie.
I saw that shit, and it was like the corniest thing ever to me.
It was, but anyway. All right, so let's talk about the hot topics. Well, let's talk about first. I wanted to talk about the fact that there was a. I don't know if you heard about this. The guy who's suing Grindr.
No,
okay.
But I want to hear about this. I want to know what the fuck he's suing about. But go ahead.
Well, there's a guy. He's in New York. He just filed a lawsuit against Grindr after he says, I'm so sorry, I'm coughing. After he says an ex-lover used the app to try and have him raped and murdered. So what happened is he met his ex on Grindr in 2015, and they were dating for a while. And he says his ex started creating profiles impersonating him using both his home and work addresses, and as well as private photos and things like that, and screen name and everything. And then he says his ex started sending random dudes to his apartment. So like he would like literally get like one day he got like 70 guys coming to his door wanting to have sex with him that his ex had set up on Grindr with him and gave him his address and everything.
But how is this Grindr's fault? I don't get that.
I agree with you. I agree it's not Grindr's fault. I'm just telling you what happened.
If you just would have locked your fucking phone, put a lock on that shit, it would have never happened.
Well, anyway, I just think it's an interesting thing.
If anything, sue the manufacturer of the phone. Yeah, if that's the case.
Well, actually, and he says like just last week a Grindr trick got into his apartment building and refused to leave. I mean, he literally refused to leave and was pushing him and like threatening to kill him and everything else if he didn't have sex with him or something like that. So it's like ridiculous. But so I don't see how it's Grindr's fault either. I don't think it's Grindr's fault that this guy is a fucking nut. So insane motherfucker. I think it has nothing to do with Grindr.
So wait, so the guy that was posting all this stuff, was this his boyfriend?
His ex-boyfriend. Yeah, a guy he dated him briefly, like for like a few weeks, and then he just like was obsessed. And
wait a minute, this is another thing I want to know.
Yeah, what?
Why is it that gay men are so quick to call another man their boyfriend after a few weeks, and then he do some stupid shit like that, and you be like, "Oh, he's my ex." I was like, "Well, obviously you didn't know him enough because he's going around doing some shit like this."
He was his ex before this. I mean, this guy was doing this stuff when he was with him, but he didn't know it was him until after they'd broken up.
Oh my God.
Anyway.
Well then, I don't know what to tell you, boo.
I'm just saying it's an interesting case. It's just an interesting case. I think it's an interesting case.
I mean, it's not going to get anywhere. How much is he suing for?
I don't think it says how much he's suing for. Let me go look real quick. I think it said What does it say? Yeah, I don't know. I lost
I
it.
don't know.
Sorry.
I don't know. Bottom line is that's not going anywhere. Sorry.
Yeah,
I mean, I hate that he
why isn't he
had to
suing
go
the
through
ex
that.
and not Grinder? Because you know why he's suing Grinder? Because Grinder has the money. That's why he's suing Grinder.
Right. And I mean, I feel sorry for what happened to the guy,
Yeah.
but I mean, sorry, but it's not going to go anywhere.
Well, let's talk about the.
If I was a judge, it wouldn't go anywhere.
Let's
Go
talk
ahead.
about the Uber CEO resigning.
So, okay, so for some of you that may know, starting, I believe it was Friday, it was a trending topic called hashtag delete Uber.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that they had the hashtag delete Uber is because the CEO, which is Travis, whatever, I can't pronounce his last name. Pretty much he's a Trump supporter, and he was going to meet with Trump or like be on some type of council or some shit. I didn't read much into it because as soon as it said Trump, I lost interest. But pretty much people were getting upset because he was trying to be part of Trump's council, and he was pretty much saying he's a Trump supporter and that type of thing. And then he was like, "Well, that's fine if you don't, if you disagree, if you agree to disagree. But the funny part about he started naming all these other CEOs of other companies that do this. He was like, "Well, if you go treat me that way, then the CEO of GE does this, and the CEO of Coca-Cola does this, and the CEO of, I mean, he just started naming people. I was like, okay, you kind of like snitching, but okay. But I was just like, but my thing is, I don't understand why all of a sudden these certain group of individuals want Uber to go out of business. First of all,
because
Uber
of the
is,
immigration thing, a lot of them are also immigrants that drive them, even though they're not cabs. But and they don't Trump doesn't support that, obviously, and support immigrants and all this stuff. So this guy being the CEO of Uber and having so many people who are immigrants in this country or whatever driving for him, that was a slight to them, and so they were like, "Fuck you!" And so that's why he turned around, because it was going to hurt his business. It had nothing to do with his conscience,
right? So then Lyft donated,
$1 million.
Was it
$1 million?
Was it $1 million to the ACLU?
Yes, love the ACLU.
And I was like, I said, I understand what they did there, because I'm like, what I said, Lyft, y'all are smart. Y'all are trying to get Uber's customers during this whole fucking fiasco, and I get it. I said I can see why you do it. Now Uber is like trying to come back and do something like that, but I feel like it's too little, too late now. But
I've never even taken an Uber before. I've never been in an Uber or a Lyft.
I've taken Uber several times.
Never.
But I mean, it is what it is. But it is what it is. I mean, it sucks. But my thing is that,
yes.
you have the right to protest against it if you want. I mean, I personally am against it as well. But I mean, it's you have all these immigrants that drive for this company, and then you say this stupid shit. But I mean, there's also, I feel like there's certain people who are against it are pressuring other people to stop using it, even if they are against it. Because I mean, a lot of people use Uber to get to work on a daily basis, that type of thing. And even though if you may be against it,
I don't understand why.
Stop.
Right, you're right, but I don't understand why people use Uber instead of just using a cab. Is it because it's easier?
It's cheaper.
Oh, it is cheaper, really? I thought it was like
Yeah,
the same.
No, it's cheaper. It's definitely cheaper than a cab.
Oh, okay. I see.
No, because Uber. Well, here in Dallas, I think Uber charges $1.10 a mile, and a cab charges like $2 something a mile, like $2.25 a mile.
Wow.
So it's like literally half price.
Wow. Well, of course it is. They don't have to.
So that's why a lot of people use Uber and Lyft.
But the thing is, with Uber, I mean, I would think like, what if you get in the car? I've heard horror stories, people getting raped and everything else by the drivers and shit.
Well,
like that.
that's true. But see, the thing is,
that can happen with anybody.
Uber Uber does background checks. They do MVR checks and they do background checks. And the thing was, I know 2 years ago because I actually thought about driving for Uber part time, and I passed everything, but I never did it. But the thing was, 2 years ago, when they ran all my stuff came back fine. But there were other people who had stuff on their background, and they were letting them slide through because it was like the statute of limitations was like 10 or 15 years ago, which is fine because I feel like in a certain way, if you committed a crime, 15 years ago, you did your time, you paid your debts to society, I feel like they should still let you go out to work. But then when these people started getting raped and assaulted and that type of thing. And they
Right.
started cracking down. So then they was like, oh, we can't, hire felons anymore, which I kind of have a problem with because I feel like even if you fucked up and you become a convicted felon and you did a crime 20 years ago, one time, you've been on clean and slate since then. I feel like if that was their primary job, because there's a lot of full-time Uber drivers.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're pretty much saying, "Oh, well, I'm like, what, a convicted felon can't work now?" I mean, they still have to work and support themselves or support a family or whatever. So it's kind of like
Hmm.
I'm kind of on the fence about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
Well,
I mean, I understand, why they're protesting, but it's also like, they're cracking down and started getting rid of people because they were, hiring people at one point that
mm-hmm.
didn't have a driver's license, and then when they reran it, that type of thing, when that whole Uber thing, where like a case after case after case started happening, they started cracking down on it.
Right.
So
Well, they should. I
Yeah.
mean, I
Right.
mean, it's a dangerous thing if you don't know what you're doing, but driving. But okay. I was going to tell you, I forgot to mention one thing over the weekend. I think I told you. I went to a gun range.
you didn't tell me that.
Oh yeah, I getting my it's called carry. What's it called now? It was called license to carry, but now it's called
Concealed carry or whatever.
concealed carry license. Yeah, CCL, I think. And my mom's first cousin, who's my second cousin, she and her husband have they do training or whatever. Anyways, part of the thing, I filed the thing for my license like 2 months ago, and you have to go get your fingerprints. I did all that, and then I had to go take the course. And so they do the course, they teach the course. And so we went out there, and they're in East Texas, excuse me, which is where my family's from generally, my mom's side, and so my dad's too. And we went out there, and it's a place called Point, Texas. Not Wills Point, which is where they're from, but it's even farther out near Lake Tawakoni, called Point, Texas. And we went out there and we shot. I'd never literally ever in my entire life held a gun, ever. Not like a real gun, like a handgun. And I held a handgun, and so I did not want to use a revolver. For some reason, I don't like revolvers. So to do my shooting test,
No, revolvers will come in handy though. But I'll explain that after you finish.
okay. Well, so when we took the test with the written part, and then we went to the range or whatever, and we were shooting. And so the first thing I shot with was I told him I wanted to shoot with a 9mm because that's what he had a couple options there. It was a 9mm, a 45, and there were several revolvers and a couple of 9mm. Anyway, so I chose the 9mm. It was a Ruger and loved it. Anyway, I shot the first time in my entire life I ever shot a handgun, and I shot the target, and I got a really high score. I think it's like 270 or something, I said, and which is really good. All my little shots were in this, like, in the heart and in the middle and around. It's like almost all of them were like there.
But once you shot the gun, didn't you feel like empowered or something? I know.
No, but let me explain to you why.
It feels amazing.
Well, let me explain something to you in a second. But first of all, I think I did so well because I grew up playing video games and shit like that. Shooter, you know what I mean? So that's why I did so well. Whereas my mom's getting her license too.
Right.
She was like, not so well. And then my husband shot too, and he did really bad. And anyway, so anyway, I know what I'm going to get now. It's called a 9mm. It's called a Sig Sauer. Legion gun. Yeah, that's it. Anyway, that's what I'm going to get. Anyway, but the thing is, after I shot the 9mm, I shot a 45. He said, "Do you want to try my 45?" I said, "Sure." So I shot the 45. And a 45 is like what Dirty Harry had, right? The big ass gun. Okay, I shoot this thing. That thing is too much fucking power. It scared the shit out of me. Just shooting the fucking thing scared the shit out of me because when it shot, it was like, I mean, it was like in my hand, and it jerked my hand back, straight back, and oh my god, it was too much power.
Also, it had a lot of like recoil.
Kickback. Yeah, it was bad. I mean, it was so bad, but it was not just the recoil itself. It was such a fucking strong gun. It scared the shit out of me. Anyway,
it's pretty heavy too.
It is kind of heavy, but it was all right. It wasn't that heavy, but it was okay.
But see, the good thing I like about a revolver is that
my mom wants a revolver. That's what she wants.
Here's a good thing I like about a revolver. It's to me, it's not the most attractive gun because I like cute guns. Like me personally, I will go for a 380. But the reason I like about revolvers is because if you ever had to go after someone and you don't want to leave any evidence, revolvers don't leave shells.
No, I know that. Yeah, I know.
So that's pretty much the only reason I like revolvers.
But the thing is, they're not as easy to. I mean, I don't know. They're just not as good. They're not as good for protection. The reason I'm getting a gun is because of
plus revolvers don't have safety things on them.
Well, the safety is the cock. That's the safety. If you don't
Well,
cock it
that's what
back,
I'm saying. But I mean, like,
it depends on if it's a
380s.
single. It depends on if it's a single action or double action. If it's a single action, then you just pull the trigger. If it's a double action, you can cock it back or not cock it. I mean, you just pull the cock back. You have to pull the cock back. I mean, to shoot it if it's a single action.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, 380s and 9mm, they don't have a safety feature that you click on or click off, whatever.
They do.
But most revolvers don't have
they
that.
Don't.
That's all I'm saying.
No.
But, okay.
But I don't
Go
like revolvers. But whatever. Anyway, the reason I was saying the reason I'm getting one is because of the current climate in America, and I honestly feel afraid with where our country's going and what's going to happen. So I felt like I need to protect myself if anybody tries to kill us or something like that, or
he's protecting his Second Amendment.
No,
right.
The fucking Gestapo comes in here, the new Gestapo, the Trump's Gestapo comes in here, in 2 years, whatever, and he's like, "Oh, you faggots out of here," whatever, and tries to take us to gas chambers and stuff. And I'm like, "Fuck you, motherfucker!" I'm gonna shoot all those fuckers.
Trump is gonna pass some type of bill where he's gonna make purging legal.
Well, that's what we're going to talk about now. He's trying to actually purging. He's actually trying to pass something called a Religious Freedom Act, and this is ridiculous because what it says is. It says, quote, well, it's establishing a government-wide initiative to respect religious freedom. But what it's saying is it cites religious belief as grounds for its broad application of Americans and their religious organizations will not be coerced by the federal government into participating in activities that violate their conscience. So basically anything that someone feels like is against their conscience is acceptable. Anything. So they can, if it's against someone's conscience that something someone else is doing, then they have the right to discriminate against that person or somehow harm them or whatever. I mean, it's ridiculous. This is opening Pandora's box, and anybody can use this law to say anything, not just religious people. So he's trying to do this basically.
I'm telling you, a real life purge is coming.
Oh, don't say that. Oh my God, don't say that. Well, if purge is coming, I want to know what day it's happening so I can be ready. What night it's happening, I mean.
Well, they'll tell you. They'll tell you way in advance.
I'm going to be
commencing of the siren.
No, I want to be prepared so I can put metal around my walls and shit. I don't know, whatever. But anyway, so that's something he's trying to do as well. And he's our rights as gay people, they're basically doing this intentionally to take direct aim at the LGBT community, basically nullifying a lot of the protections we've gotten so far through Obama. So this is what this is about. And so don't you feel like, I mean, aren't you afraid of anything that's going to happen with Trump in terms of what's happening to you as a gay person?
I do. And I've also told my mom the same thing because my mom lives alone. And
She
I
does.
told her that I was like, you really need to get a gun. I mean, just for protection, just in case. Because I'm like, you live by yourself, and that type of thing. Even though, I mean, I have, relatives and aunts that, live within a 30-minute drive of her house.
Yes.
But, I mean, still, a lot of shit can happen in 30 minutes. A whole lot of shit can happen in 30
A lot of
minutes.
shit can happen in 1 minute. Yeah.
Right. So she was like, well, yeah, you're right. Maybe I should look into it and think about getting a gun for protection. I was like, yeah, you may never use it, but it's just you keep it just in case. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, that type of thing. But the way Trump is doing shit, listen, they gonna be like, I'm gonna hear that thing where it says all crime is legal for the next 12 hours, except for high ranking official number 10 or whatever the fuck it says in that commencing of that speech. And what does it say? God bless America, a nation reborn, and all that bullshit. Some shit like that. And I'm gonna stay in my apartment from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m.
This is why I want to build a bomb shelter at my house. This is why I want to build a bomb shelter. Seriously.
People still going to find a way in.
Not in my bomb shelter, they won't. No, I'm talking about, no, you're not getting in my bomb shelter, bitches. And if they come in, I'm going to shoot their fucking asses.
That's because Donovan people's going to have a high dollar bomb shelter.
Well, that's the only way to go. Anyway, Trump.
And people are going to start comparing you to the NRA since you have a gun now.
Oh,
are you an NRA
that's
supporter?
what my cousin was saying. My mom's cousin, whatever. But I call her my aunt because anyway, it's a long story. But ever since I was a kid, I call her my aunt. But anyway, she was saying that, or her husband was saying, was saying that, oh, you need to get a membership to the NRA. And I'm like, oh, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I'm not going to do that because that would be really fucking funny if I were a member of the NRA because it's completely the antithesis of everything I stand for in so many ways. So no, not going to happen. But it costs he's like, it's like $2,000 a year or some shit. I was like, fuck that. There's no fucking way I would do that anyway. Why would you pay $2,000 a year? But anyway, I want to talk about one more thing before you talk about another topic. Trump issues. Did you hear what he said about Frederik Douglass and all that stuff? About did you know?
No. Oh yes. He said that
Yes.
Frederik Douglass did a quote unquote amazing job.
No, he's still going to be doing amazing things as if he were still alive. He had no fucking clue who Frederik Douglass was. He had no idea who Frederik Douglass was. Frederik Douglass was a very well-known writer, politician, the first black man in the White House, all this shit. I mean, just tons of shit.
How can I mean,
He's been dead for like 160 years.
Is?
He's been dead for like 160 years because he's a fucking white, entitled racist. Of course, he doesn't know who Frederik Douglass is. A fucking dumb fuck. Anyway.
Oh, so maybe that's why when I was on CNN, like all the media outlets had a field day with that because they were just like,
he did not.
Somebody was like, "Excuse me, Frederik Douglass has been dead for over 100 years."
Yes, exactly. I mean, he doesn't even know. He's like, he's doing great things. But let me just play the clip. It's like 30 seconds long, so you can hear what the dumb fuck said because I want you to hear it. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, here we go.
Isabella, on many internet marketing shows, you hear these questions, don't you? How do I get more followers on Instagram? How do I get more people finding me on...
Sorry, that was the wrong thing. Here we go.
I was like, what is that?
Listen.
Reverend King, so many other things. Frederik Douglass is an example of somebody who's done an amazing job and is being recognized more and more, I notice. Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, and millions more black Americans who made America what it is today.
So the insinuation was he was still alive. He's a fucking idiot. But we know that already. So anyway, moving on. Let's talk about let's talk about Beyoncé, the twins. She's pregnant. Is that correct?
Congratulations to Beyonce. She's pregnant with twins. The only reason I'm saying something about it because, the social media has just, taken off with, oh, she came out with these photos with the exposing her baby bump and she's pregnant with twins. I was like, okay, I guess Jay-Z get that super sperm. But
I don't know why she's into him. That man is just,
congratulations.
I don't like Jay-Z. I don't like him. Why is it always these really sweet girls get with these thuggish guys who are fucking assholes? Why is that?
Well, it's been like that for years.
I think it's been like that since the beginning of time. It's like
it's always been like that. These young, sweet, innocent girls get with these bad boys. That's why you always hear the good girl with the bad boy. I mean, that's just what they like. But congratulations. I mean, do I really care that she's pregnant? No, but I'm happy for her. But I guess I just have to say something.
So
because
what are they gonna name? What are they gonna name these twins? What's she name her first kid? What was her first kid's name?
Blue Ivy. Somebody said online.
It's gonna be Apple Tree.
Since she's no, they said that since she's pro-black when she came out with the whole Formation album, it's all about pro-black and everything. They said she probably gonna name her kids Devontae and Keisha.
Shaniqua.
I thought that was pretty funny. I thought that was funny. They was like, yep. They was like, no, her ass, and with this whole pro-black movement with her Formation album, she'll probably name her fucking kids
Shaka Khan. That'll be Shaka
Khan. And I
Khan.
thought that was the funniest thing.
She'll name it Shaka Khan. What about you had something on your list about Rihanna on the Bates Motel movie. Now, did you watch the Bates Motel show?
No.
Oh my God. Well, I do. I've watched this in the very first season and it's a fucking amazing show, but the last season's coming on next month or 2 months from now. But what is the deal about Rihanna?
They're putting her in there as Marion something. I don't watch the show. Whoever plays the character of Marion or whatever on the Bates Motel.
Crane?
Here's my name. Yeah, that's her name. Here's my thing. I don't know why Hollywood keeps putting this bitch in all these movies. That she can't act worth a damn.
What don't you understand who Marion Crane is in the movie? In the movie, first of all, you're talking about the movie. It's not the movie. You're talking about the show. She's going to be on the show, not the movie. The series, season 5. Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, not whatever. There's a big difference. I was like, is there going to be a movie? I was like, okay. No, yeah, she's going to be on the show, Bates Motel season 5. Yes, okay. But I want to explain to you who Marion Crane is. Marion Crane is the woman that's in the very most famous scene of all in Psycho. You've seen Psycho, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's what Bates Motel is based on, Psycho, Norman Bates and all that stuff. It's about him before all that. He became.
But they
Norman
got
Bates.
Rihanna out of all people.
She's gonna be the one screaming in the shower. That's gonna be who that is.
I mean, Hollywood couldn't find anyone else.
The thing is,
I
this is
mean,
not a racist thing to say. This is an aesthetics thing. This is an artistic thing to say. The thing is, you need a white woman for that, and the reason you need a white woman is because the blood. You know what I mean? All the blood. Now she's pretty light skinned though, right? Like Rihanna.
Rihanna's pretty light, but I don't even care about that. I'm just like,
But I'm
why
saying
book
that's part
Rihanna
of the.
out
That's
of
part
all
of the.
people?
I'm just saying that's part of the horror of that scene. But yeah, Rihanna's an odd choice, but she's going to be on a TV show. It's not like she's going to be on
That's just.
an award.
But listen, when I saw Rihanna in that movie Battleship, she couldn't act worth a shit. That was some horrible acting.
What was that movie she was
movie.
in where she comes out and her hair changes color to blonde? I saw something about that. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about.
Movie about what now?
She walks out of some ship or some shit, and her hair all of a sudden turns blonde. And
All thing I can think of was Battleship.
no, that's old. I'm talking about something that's out recent. But anyway, whatever. But okay, that's cool. That's interesting. She'll be in
I don't know.
Bates
I
Motel.
don't
But Bates
know.
Motel, if you've
She
never
couldn't
seen,
act. She couldn't act in that shit either.
if you've never seen Bates Motel, you really should watch it from the beginning. It's a really fucking amazing show. It's like you can't not watch it. And by the end of every season, you're like, oh my fucking god. I mean, really, it's good. But anyway, okay, let's talk about also Omarosa on The View. You wanted to talk about that?
This bitch. This fucking bitch. Now here's my thing. I hated Omarosa from the beginning, and then she was on Kim Whitley's show that comes on the OWN network, Raising Whitley, and I kind of liked her then because it seemed like she was being more original on that show. But now I feel like whenever she gets in front of camera, I feel like she is just doing the most every time she's in front of a camera. So she was talking to, she was on The View and she was talking to Joy. She was talking with the panel, really, but she was saying that, Joy was like, well, how come Trump has apologized about saying this or saying that and that type of thing and all that stuff. And they were going back to like his pre-presidential, like his campaign days or whatever. And Omarosa's like, well, he's president now, so people need to respect him and bow down and all this other stuff. I was like, girl, stop. Like, you sound like a straight up fool with this shit.
Wow.
She was just like, and then, her husband was sitting in the audience. She was like, I'm a Republican. My husband is a Democrat. And he's sitting out there in the audience like, yep. I was like, it was just so odd. And then she was just like, I'm happy now. My fiance's about to get married. And she gonna look to Joy and say, well, Joy, I hope you can find, happiness in your life as well, or some shit like that. Joy looked at her like, girl, please. That's exactly what Joy said. And I was like, Joy, that's right. Joy. And I was just like, I don't understand this whole, like, she would, because Omarosa was like, oh, well, he's doing things for, to help the African American community. Like what?
Well,
what has
she
he
also
done?
said on The View, that she was planning this huge event for Black Pride, or not Black Pride, Black History Month. And
Black History Month.
Yes. And was talking about how that he was going to be doing this huge event, blah, blah, blah. The event was what we just played a minute ago. That was the big thing. He sat there in front of these black people behind him in chairs, like props, and read from his speech
They were probably paid.
written.
They were probably paid.
No, there were some of them.
They were probably fucking
Some
paid.
of them they worked for him.
I
They
know.
worked for him. Anyway, and read from the speech that in front of him that probably was written by someone else, I'm sure, and talked about Frederik Douglass like he was still alive. This is what he did for Black History Month. Not only did he do that, but the rest of the speech, all he did was talk about himself. He talked about how he does doing wonderful things, and he appointed Ben Carson as the HUD guy and all that bullshit. Like, all he did was talk about himself. He's a fucking narcissist motherfucker. Anyway, the point is that this was her big event she was talking about on The View. She didn't do shit, and she's not interested in doing shit. All she's interested in is getting publicity and getting the cachet of working for the president. She doesn't give a fuck about what's best for the country. That woman didn't give a fuck about anybody but herself, as has been obvious since the very first season of Apprentice. Anyway, by the way, I boycotted Apprentice this year because Dumbfuck is still producing it. That's why I don't watch the show anymore. I like the show, but I will not watch it even though he's not on it anymore.
But that's funny though, because
Hello?
it's funny though because aren't Trump and Schwarzenegger like going back and forth with each other?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
they are going back
I
and
can
forth,
hear you.
but
I
it's
think,
because
I think
it's because Trump called him out about him. Oh, Trump said the show was failing because of Schwarzenegger, because he was now on there instead of Trump, and it has nothing to do with that. I don't think. And the reason is because a lot of people are doing what I'm doing. They're boycotting the show. They're refusing to watch the show because Trump is still an active executive producer on the show. And so Schwarzenegger shot back at him, well, why don't we do this? Why don't we trade places? Since you know so much about TV, you come and do The Apprentice and I'll take your job so people can sleep well at night.
and you know what?
I would vote for him in a second over Trump. Anybody, pretty much.
I'm kind of for.
Hello? You're breaking up or something's happening. Hello? I'm going to have to edit the shit out of this show. Hello?
Omarosa.
I cannot hear you. You're like blah, 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 blah. Hello? Speak.
I don't know what's going on with my connection. I don't know.
Oh my God, you sound like a computer. You're like I don't know. You sound like a computer. What's happening? Are you on Wi-Fi?
I don't know.
You're on Wi-Fi, aren't you?
Yes.
That's the problem. Yes. You shouldn't be on Wi-Fi. You should be connected directly. That'd be a lot better and faster in the future, just FYI. But anyway, whatever. Okay. Last few things to talk about quickly. Hidden Figures wins Best Ensemble at 2017 SAG Awards.
Yay. I'm so excited. That's all I want to say. I was just excited that they,
I am too. It was a fucking awesome movie. You finally saw it, right?
I did. It was a wonderful movie.
It really, really was. I agree. It was fucking awesome. So good. Okay, cool. Well, I think that's all for this week then, since we're having issues anyway. So we'll be back next week, Thursday, February the 9th, I think, at 9 p.m. Central Time. Be sure to check us out at gayxyz.com. You can find us on Facebook, Gay XYZ Show. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on iHeartRadio. If you want to listen to the Off Limits Show there, look for Gay XYZ. You'll see it. And you can also find us at Spreaker, SPREAKER.com. You can find me at offlimitshow.com. And if you want to find out more about Jason, you can go to...
you can follow me on Twitter, which is Jason Be Like. It's Jason_BBE_like.
Yes, and so be sure to check him out as well. And we hope to hear from you all next week. And have a great week, everybody. And stay gay, as we always say. Stay gay. Good night. Good night.
Bye.